Zeko. Hey.
All right.
Hey. All right. It's the podcast. The After Party Podcast. The party has happened. This is after that. The After Party Podcast.
I thought it was a party today. It started off as a pity party.
Yeah.
We were pissed.
Right. Well,
Yes.
I just, I don't know. It was like a Christmas morning. No, it was like Christmas night because you look under the tree and they're like, oh, my God, there's one more present under there. That's how I felt when I found that story this morning. I didn't know that was going to happen this morning. I'm like,
I thought you were
my
making it
God.
up.
It was on page 6. I'm like, why does it say iHeartMedia on page 6? But that's not what I'm here to talk to you guys about. So yesterday we had Buettner on, bluezones.com. He mentioned this author that was from either Eden Prairie or Dinah, something like that he was a fan of, who talked about trying to find meaning in life, especially as you get older and after you're an empty nester or whatever you're going through, right? So I listened to the guy's TED Talk, and then I bought one of his books. He's been gone for like 7 years now. He passed away, but he told this story in regards to that exact thing about trying to find your purpose in life and trying to find out what makes you happy. And so he went to this place, someplace, I think it was in Africa, and he'd been going there a few times, taking trips for charities and stuff like that. And so he's there interviewing some people from a tribe through an interpreter and all that jazz. And he's interviewing this tribe of people, and the I forget what you would call him, like the oldest guy, the head of the tribe, whatever you call him.
Mm-hmm.
He says, hang on a second. He says, we've been answering your questions for a long time. Let me ask you a question. And he goes, do you know the 2 most important days of your life? And the guy, the author, says, well, I think I do. I think it's the day you were born and the day you die. And the tribesman goes, you came all the way here to talk to us. You live in this country with all this stuff, and you don't know the 2 most important days of your life. And the guy says, well, then tell me what it is. And he says, you're right about the first one. One of the most important days is the day you were born. But the second most important day is when you find out what your purpose is. And for this guy who's never been more than 25 miles from the place he was born, and he lives with nothing, right? But he lives also with everything he needs. And when he said finding your purpose is the second most important day of your life, he's talking about your purpose within the tribe. Like, my purpose is to hunt, or my purpose is to protect the kids, or whatever your purpose is, or anything like that. And I just thought that was a really, really important and fascinating point when you find out what your purpose is. And dude, I wish I could remember his name. I'll look it up on my phone. Goes on, and I know I've only read 2 chapters of the book so far, and I'm sure to get more in depth. But your purpose can change throughout life. Like, your purpose is raising your kids. Your purpose is going to college and accumulate, everything like that. But finding your purpose means finding like what your talent is, whatever your gift is, and mixing it with something that really lights the fire in your life. And that's going to change as you go on, in different stages of your life. But I've been thinking about that a lot since I listened to that TED Talk yesterday and last night and everything like that. And I think it's what an exploration to wonder, like, first of all, and you don't have to say out loud because it sounds egotistical to say, here's what my gift is, right? But to think about what your gift is, and then think about, like I love travel, let's say, right? And let's say that I think my gift is that I can sing a little bit, okay? How do I mix those 2 things to make the last 30 years of my life really purposeful? Because there is a charity angle, maybe, but there doesn't have to be, because it's your fucking life.
Yeah.
You don't have to do charity, right? But if that is the part that feeds your soul, that gives you purpose, that's cool too. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool. Thought that's an interesting thing. So I'm looking for ideas. How can I travel for free and
crowdsourcing.
sing? Yeah, let's do this. Let's figure it out. How can we do that?
How many books do you think you read a month?
Probably 3 or 4.
And
but I listen to them.
Listen
Sure,
to them.
yeah, and I don't mind differentiating between that. It's just having somebody read them to you. But
Still retaining new knowledge and information.
Which is probably the way I would go.
Yeah, and I love it, man. I like all the time am listening to something. I listened to the Geezer Butler book. I listened to a story, a new series about a Western that I finished that one day before yesterday. So, yeah, probably 3 or 4 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know why I don't do that is because I'm not on the road enough. Like, my commute is about 14, 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So it's a lot like when Marnie said she watched the Succession finale and stopped halfway because she got tired. I'm like,
Right.
no, you watched the whole thing.
Yeah, you watched the whole thing.
I'm not interested in watching part of a finale, right? I feel the same way about books on tape. It's if I was on a flight to Ireland and had 6 hours to listen to a book, sure. If I was, like when I listen to Smartless, it's almost always when I'm playing poker because then I can just throw my AirPods in. I have hours to just sit there and do nothing. It gives me something to do in between hands, things like that, right? I don't want to get 15 minutes into a chapter and be captivated and be like, I'm at work or I'm at home.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to start and stop that often. So if you can do that, good for you. But I want to binge it, and I just don't really have windows to do that.
Yeah. Right.
Very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I drive a lot.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah,
that
I'm
helps
all
you.
over the place. Yeah, for sure.
How often do you get through one hawk and you go, fuck it, this isn't it? Where you just move on? Like how quickly and how long do you give an audiobook?
That is something that this sounds really weird, but I had a hard time with that for a long time. I would force myself to finish a book even if I didn't like it. Because I bought the fucking book, I'm going to finish it. I don't do that anymore, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not anymore. If I give it, I give it some time, whatever the predetermined amount of time is, and it sucks. I had to start listening to clips of the audiobook before I bought the audiobook because the person who reads it can fucking ruin it for you if it's not somebody. They can also make it better too, by the way. But so I started doing that. Now I give it a little preview so I can make sure I like the person who's reading it. But I have so many books in the queue that I want to read too. And I like to go back and forth between fiction, nonfiction, fiction, nonfiction, fiction, nonfiction. Yeah. Anyway, and every now and again I'll throw something in like this thing that I'm listening to now. I was going to look up his name because I think it's a pretty interesting concept where you try to learn stuff. But
is that app that you have? Is that like an account? Do you get you buy the book or do you get like as many books you want in a month?
Oh no, yeah, it's Audible.com.
Yeah,
it's an Amazon company.
Yeah.
You're paying per book?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Richard J. Leider, Leider. The book is The Power of Purpose. But let me see
what's an average audiobook cost? A couple bucks or like $15?
$7.99, $8.99. Yeah. See, I've listened to The Spirit of Steamboat by Craig Johnson, Into the Void by Geezer Butler, and How We Go in the Dark by Sugoya Nagamatsu in the last 3 weeks.
Book?
Really interesting. So the concept of that book, and I don't know if you were here, but I was telling these guys a little bit about the idea that if you donate your body. Oh,
here comes the kid warning.
Yeah, right, got it.
Although it sounded like what you were going to say was appropriate.
Yeah, so when you donate your body to science, that you might be donating it to people who study it for, like they put your body out in the woods and have dogs and people go find your body as if you were murdered. That was that book, and but that's not what the whole book was about. It was just a part of it. But the idea of this book was that there's a team of scientists up in Siberia, and the permafrost is melting. And so they are a team who has gone there to specifically look at all the bacteria and things that are being released in the permafrost so that we can try to fight the disease that eventually is going to be released into the atmosphere, right? And so while they're up there, they find the body of a Neanderthal-era little girl, and of course they do an autopsy and it releases this disease that killed her. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that story of that little girl comes back later in the book. But so it starts right there with them finding this and then follows the story of basically the end of the world all the way to where we have created a spaceship that can get through a black hole to find another planet where humanity can live. It's a fucking thick and really interesting book and completely creative. But the good thing about that is the little stories like that thing about the body being donated to science was inside this book about this giant thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, right, for sure.
We got to get off the planet.
Yeah,
Permafrost in Siberia is going to kill us all.
Well, and the author was so good that ridiculous things happened and it didn't throw me off.
Right.
Like so this is a a form of bacteria, this virus. It kills only old people and children at first, right? So they can't stop it. And so they, this is terrible, and I apologize, but it is what it is. It's a book. So kids are dying at such an alarming rate and it's such a terrible way to die that they create these amusement parks where kids can go to have their last day.
Jesus.
And I know it's terrible, but again, and the last ride that they go on that day is a roller coaster that hits so many G's that it takes them out. But they're having fun when it happens, right? So you go from that what I told you about earlier to this part to the next part. There are these basically souls that are floating around in this. What's the in between heaven and hell?
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Thank you. And they're floating around and they don't know what their purpose is or why they're there, and they can't move and they don't even know where they are, right? So one of the new souls that comes in is a baby, and they're like, well, this baby shouldn't be here. And they're like, well, what are we going to do? So they, long story short, decide they're going to try to sling this baby back into life. I know it sounds ridiculous, but again, it didn't. This author was so gifted. So they get together and they sling this baby back through the ceiling of wherever they are. And the next story is about how they're doing experiments on these animals to try to grow human organs that can replace the organs inside the babies that are dying. And one of the animals is a pig, and the researchers are in there doing tests on him, and he says, "Hello, doctor." And so they threw the baby's soul into the soul of a pig.
Oh, wow.
And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I swear to God, it wasn't. The writer was so gifted that you followed it and you bought it. And so then you've got these scientists who are talking to a pig who is growing up like a child would grow up, learning to talk, only it's a fucking pig.
Wow.
Right? It's
You can
incredible.
do mushrooms and listen to this book.
I was just
Right.
going to say, to amend what we were talking about on the show today, mushrooms are pretty good.
I
They're-
know.
Take
I
some
know.
shrooms,
Sounds
man.
incredible.
I know. Yeah. I really love, and that's what we're going back to Black Mirror, like you were talking about, Corey. I fucking love when somebody completely surprises me because that never happens.
Yeah.
When you get a story that's completely original, how many people in the history of mankind have written stories? Somebody comes up with an idea you've never heard of.
Yeah.
That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. It's yeah.
So that's why I listen to books. So there you
What? Let me ask you one more book-related
Go
question.
ahead, baby.
What's what's a book that like everybody loves, or that became like super critically acclaimed that you don't get or you didn't like?
Blood Meridian, Cormac McCarthy.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought it was just there's so much minutia in his books that they do nothing for me, and I often wonder like if people like it just because everybody who's smart likes it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the stories, don't get me wrong, the stories are great. Like obviously, No Country for Old Men, great story.
Yep.
The minutia packed into one of his books, it's hard for me to sit through. I don't. There's not. It moves so slowly to get to the point that I find myself looking at the road signs and forgetting what I just listened to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I still, and again, I've never read No Country for Old Men, but when we talked about Cormac McCarthy dying last week, I still think that's incredible that the Coen brothers or any buddy that can adapt a book or something into a screenplay. How do you read a book that is apparently written in the way that you're claiming that Cormac McCarthy used to write? How do you find a movie if it moves that slowly, right?
Right.
How do you say, I know how I can make this a little under 2 hours and be spellbinding every second for 120 straight minutes?
Yeah.
Because No Country was, right? There's not a wasted scene, word,
Correct.
moment.
Yep.
It's a flawless movie. They didn't waste a second. So, and there's a lot of slow moments, but there's a reason, like, right? It's building tension.
Yeah.
There's awkwardness. It's so calculated. It's like, how do you read a book and know exactly how you would put it on the screen? You just got to have a different kind of a mind. And obviously the Coen brothers are, visionaries.
For sure.
Spectacular.
You got some?
No.
Oh, I thought you raised your hand. The I Am Legend book, which became the book the movie I Am Legend. Obviously,
Yep.
with Will Smith. Great movie, I thought. I listened to it. I'm looking to see if it tells me when I listened to it. In 2007. It came out in 2006. I listened to it initially on a cassette. That tells you how long ago it was. It's nothing like the movie.
Really?
Nothing.
Hmm.
The vampires or zombies or whatever they are talk and stuff. It's so.
That
I think-
movie was very frustrating.
I thought it was a good movie. I
It
liked
was
it.
on
What about the
it was
dog?
on Monday. Yeah.
Was the dog in the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the dog was in the book. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's
like-
see, what's the other one?
Like growing up, though, I remember I couldn't believe that adults cared about like who directed movies.
Yeah, well,
Like, why would you care who directs a movie? Then when you get older, you realize it's kind of like loving a band. It's my favorite band's releasing a new album, right? Once you know that, oh, God, Christopher Nolan makes my kind of movies, or the Coen brothers make my kind of movies, Wes Anderson makes my kind of movies. You just want to, even if it's not your favorite album by them, you still want to. I still want to see what they're capable of doing. That's why, like, if you told me a movie about Oppenheimer was coming out next month, I'd go, I don't know if I care if I want to watch like a documentary, or not a documentary, a biopic on Oppenheimer. Once you say it's Nolan, I'm like, I'm going to run to the theater.
You have to watch it.
I don't know what he's going to do with it, but I know it's going to be freaking groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And the chances that he misses is like 3%.
I'm the same way. I had no interest in that movie until I realized he was behind it.
Yeah.
And then the new Wes Anderson movie comes out, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to go, Kelly and I are going to go see that on Monday.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
I still haven't seen reviews for it. Is it solid, positive,
It's okay.
negative?
I think it's like 80%. Some people, some of the, like, you know, the reviewers say it's the best Wes Anderson movie. Because the
Asteroid
French,
City,
the French
75%.
Dispatch was just okay. But I love Wes Anderson movies. I can't wait to see it.
You mentioned this morning on the show, The Bear season 2, 100%.
Yeah, that's I can't. Yeah, maybe
Black
we'll
Mirror 76% for this season, which is not super great.
No.
When is the Bear season 2 out?
Today.
Today? Okay.
But that's an FX/Hulu show. So is that one of those bits where it's once a week?
I think they're all on Hulu. I thought I saw today.
You can binge the whole season?
I thought I saw that today.
I wasn't sure if it was a once a week thing or a binging
that
bit.
was Skull Island, the cartoon that Hawk and I are going to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Flash 64%. Elemental, like I said, was just solid. That's a 75%. It was just okay. Didn't hate it. Again, my girls loved it. That's all I cared about.
Yeah, correct. That's all.
And the
that matters.
Diet Coke was fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, Zacho?
Oh, phenomenal.
By the way, hey, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You know
Which
what?
theater did you go to?
Plymouth.
Yeah, that's a good theater.
But you know what's bizarre? Is I don't know how often
All
this
bizarre.
happens at other theaters, but this is the deal at Plymouth, and I don't know if it's a staffing thing or who gives a fuck anymore. I ordered my tickets online, right? So you pick out your seats before you get there, right? That's not new. Everybody's been doing that. You go and you pick up your tickets on that little kiosk, right? Here, give me my tickets. They kick out the tickets. There's nobody checking tickets.
Yeah.
It's essentially all honor system. So I go get my tickets. We go get popcorn and pop, and then I'm walking to the theater. There's not even an attendant to take your ticket. They just trust that, yeah, you bought the ticket. Go ahead and sit where. It's like people must be just walking in.
Well, and I bet at
Nobody's
this point,
checking.
as long as you buy snacks, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
You know what I
I just
mean?
think it's
You
crazy.
might be right.
But somebody email me or tweet me if that's happening all over the Twin
Oh,
Cities.
yeah,
Or if,
it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody's checking
And,
tickets.
And it used to be back in the day where you'd have your ticket checked, and then you'd have like access to like any theater. That was before you actually reserved a seat.
Yeah.
So like there'd be times every once in a while I might do a double feature because
A lot of people did that.
right. But nowadays, yeah, it is. You know, I think I had a buddy they caught on. They had surveillance. And the security watched him go right in, and it was what movie was it for?
Hawk knows. What movie was it for?
You can't joke about that, the Leon Russell story.
It was a while ago. It was like the newest American Pie.
That was a terrible film.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The newest American Pie film. When was the fucking last time an American Pie film came out?
2002.
Right.
Well, no, there was like one in the late 2020s or
No
whatever.
idea. Take
But
your word for
anyway,
it.
they yanked him out of the theater.
The late 2020s.
It's only 2023.
I don't know.
Are you high?
No.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, he was high the other day at
No,
work,
What?
for sure.
I don't.
Which
think
day
I
were you
was.
high?
Monday.
I don't think I
No.
was.
Why would you say you don't think you were?
Well,
You were high as shit.
They would have been.
Jack-o'-lantern.
It would have been 15, 16
Lantern?
hours in.
I can't speak.
So if it was that, then I might have an issue with my
Sphincter.
kidneys.
Chris,
Your
I was
sphincter.
telling the Mahatma Ganja over there
Brilliant.
that did edibles or whatever in Vegas.
Yeah.
This is the second time this has happened to me. I felt no effect while I was awake, but then just tripped balls while I was dreaming. So essentially, like overdosed on melatonin.
No kidding.
I had the craziest effing dreams, and then woke up kind of in a hangover-esque haze. Not where I was, quote, hungover. I wasn't sick to
Yeah,
my
sure.
stomach.
Right,
I didn't
right,
feel
right.
like the room was spinning. I just knew I didn't feel normal, and that was 10 hours after I had taken them. Tripped balls in
Was
my
it 10
dreams.
hours when you woke up after you'd taken them?
Yeah,
So how long did you sleep for?
probably 8.
So
Close to 7 or 8.
There's a good chance, Corey, the edible didn't kick in until you fell asleep.
It does depend on how much food you have.
And
in your
that's
stomach.
exactly
Dude,
why.
I never felt it, and I was
That's what
tripping
happened.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
dreams were
You
fucked
woke up
up.
high, which is one of the worst things, and might have happened on Tuesday. I don't know.
Man.
I woke up high.
Oh,
So maybe I need
Monday.
to do it a little earlier in the day because both times I did it, it was 9, 10 at night. Went to
Oh,
bed
yeah.
an hour or 2 hours after that, and going, I didn't feel it
Yeah.
again. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. So I was high at like 2 in the morning to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Then you should have woken up immediately. Went zip.
Shit, man.
Oh God!
Dude, yeah.
You would have been.
It was
Climaxing
it was
high
is
hardcore
A plus.
fever
Yeah.
dreams,
Old faithful.
lucid. I had no
Old
fucking
faithful.
clue what
Okay,
planet
don't
I
be
was
weird.
on.
But you're right.
Old faithful.
You're right.
You feel it in your hips.
Oh.
All right.
my God.
Is it past
You
time?
feel it in your hips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Barb wants to see us.
Oh boy. So is this for the Cairns boat?
The yacht division.
We can't afford. Never mind. You know what? I'm gonna stop. Just stop myself.
By the
right
way,
there.
are we going to Vegas in December, or
We'll find out. It sounds
are
like.
we going to a yacht party?
Oh.
you know the pictures from that yacht party.
Mm-hmm.
What is the morning show out of New York?
Elvis Duran.
Nope, Chameleon the God or whatever his name is.
Charlemagne?
Breakfast
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, they were on the boat. They were part of the bet.
They wouldn't drive us to Eau Claire.
No, we'd have to pay for it.
They won't reimburse a trip to Duluth.
Yeah.
No, we got to pay for that.
Right. They won't reimburse a Uber from a stadium for a football team that we are there to do broadcasting of to a hotel.
Cut that.
Bye.